All right, so this is a steering column lock out of a Mercedes. This particular one's out of a 2010 C-Class. And we're going to open it up and see what's going on inside, if we can find anything at all. So it has 4 roll pins that hold it together. I've already driven those out, so we can just go ahead and slide it apart. So this is the drive shaft. Well, support that goes in here. Now we're going to go ahead and take off this board. All right, so we're going to take off this board and I'll show you what's going on inside. Now these are real prone to failures, so they always seem to kind of lock up and just total fail, right? So this part right here is what allows everything to operate and where the steering column lock actually happens. So this motor drives this gear that moves this tooth into a cutout into the steering column. So that spins and drives this part down. Now you also have this part here that locks everything into place. And let me see if I can see where it sits. Now this part, I do believe, sits right there on that motor. This part is a pivot that's going to sit in this gear as it's driven and force this up and down. But let me see if I can figure out where that thing actually sits. Right in there like so. Now this little spring right here lives here on the back side of this. Because this, whenever this is unlocked all the way, can be forced up. And allow this stud to be pushed in so you can remove the steering column lock. So once this is all the way up, this can be pushed back and then you can lift it out of its pocket that it stays in. But whenever the steering column is locked, which by the way, that tends to be where it seizes up, is whenever it's in its locked position. Now in the locked position, it keeps this from being able to come out all the way. So you can still move it, but it just doesn't move the way it ought to in order to be able to remove the thing. So whenever a steering column lock fails, you have to be able to remove this in order to get it out of the car, because you want it in this position where that tooth is up so this can be pushed back. So if you have one that's in the process of failing, the best thing you can do is to get it in the unlocked position. That way you don't have to remove the steering column completely to unbolt this thing and get it out. You're still going to have to drop it down to get it out. Now the next thing we want to do is figure out this circuit and which parts go to this motor, so we might be able to activate that motor and make it drive that gear and get it into a position where it will move. All right, So we can look at our circuit board here and kind of see which ones go to where down to here, because this is our motor. Now there's no way we can get to that motor with this in the car, but we do know we have 2 pins that drive this motor. And just looking at our terminals here, it doesn't appear that any 2 of them go directly to that, because there are all these chips inside here that do various things. We have 2 switches, so whenever this thing hits its end stop, it turns it off. And then we have a couple of chips in here that do whatever. And so what we need to do is figure out, is there a way that we can activate that board and drive this motor from this? And that's what we're going to do. Now the best thing that I can do is probably pull this out and just do a continuity check from here to here. So that is what we're going to do. So we have our meter right here. We're going to put that up, and then we're going to go from one of these 2 circuits and just lay one here on the side of the circuit. And the first one we touch, we get 1 mega ohm. The second one, we get 0.7 mega ohms. The third one, we get 285 kilo ohms, and the final one we get 11.5 kiloohms. Now for the other side, mega ohms, 0.7 megs, and 11 kilo ohms. So that tells me that there's no direct link between this and this. So if this motor fails, what I did on the last one that I worked on, and that's this particular one right here, and let me see, you can see here all the hit marks. So this basically sits this way in the steering column with this part facing away from you. So what I did to get this out of the car was I dropped the steering column down, unbolted my bolt or my nut off the stud there, and then hit it here a few times to get it to kind of rotate out of its hole, because in the position that mine was in, this was not all the way locked, but it wasn't all the way unlocked either. It was in a position where this would spring in just a little, so I pushed it in as much as I could to try to get it out. But of course it won't come out because the pin was partially down. And let's see kind of where it was. I'm going to put this pin back in there. And try to rotate this so we can see just exactly how this guy actually works. So when this goes down, this steering column lock should drop through like that. So you can see it's got a spring right there, so it will move up and down. And it does this because there's only so many grooves in the steering column. So whenever it rotates down, it may be not in the right groove, but as soon as you turn the steering wheel, it drops. So now this is in the groove of the steering wheel, and this doesn't move. But if it's kind of partway in, then you got a little bit of movement of this. So that's what I'm saying is with this, when it dies, it maybe dies in a halfway position where you get a little bit of movement of your stud. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is this, because it doesn't sit real deep in a pocket on this side, if you hit it, it can rotate out of the pocket that it sets in. Now there's nothing you can do with this part to be able to power it up on any of those pins that go directly to this motor. So unfortunately, once this circuit board has failed, you're kind of out of luck. So the only thing you can do to get this out is to whack it a few times here on the back side to get it to rotate out of its pocket that it lives in. But anyway, I wanted to show what was inside this so we can see how this thing actually functions. There's not a lot of this mechanical portions that are going to just totally fail, because it's a pretty simple little setup. You know, it's a gear with a groove cut in it that when it spins, it drives this up and down. So it's not overly complex in the mechanical portion of it, but it is rather complicated in the electrical portion. So anyway, that's about it for this. I'm, rambled on and on and on about it. But we can see how this thing actually functions and what it does. I don't really understand what this one does. I do know what this one does. What it does is makes contact with these. It's going to trip these switches with this or this, and it's going to hit this one or this one to tell it it's at the end stop. But anyhow, that's really all I have on this topic. Thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was somewhat informative. And anyway, have a great one. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. I hope this made a difference in your diagnostic process on these things. And like I said, there's not a whole lot we can do to be able to get past this, except for have a method to remove it that doesn't require you to remove the entire dash. But anyway, have a great day, and have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.